Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, boys. Time to make our official picks for tomorrow. Vikings, Titans. It's a very weak part of the schedule here for the Vikes. Now, you can play ugly and turn the ball over and still win 12-7 against Jacksonville. Probably don't have to play perfectly to beat this Titans team tomorrow. So we'll go through some questions, what the sharps are saying, and then we'll make our official picks. But a couple things here. First off, Pepsi has these glorious new 32-ounce Justin Jefferson souvenir cups. Look at this thing.
Oh, that's
I got to
nice.
read if it's empty from our previous podcast here
nice.
this week. But yeah, Pepsi has these inside local Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh locations, and there's a QR code on the side of the cup. You can only scan it if you have the cup, where you can enter to win Victor's Ride, a glorious Vikings-themed Polaris ATV. Pepsi's also given away a solo pizza stove, Vikings autographed merchandise, so go get your Justin Jefferson souvenir cups, courtesy of Pepsi, inside local Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh locations. And also, I was telling you guys this yesterday, but Prize Picks has... So, I think I'm going to... So, Prize Picks has a bunch of fun stuff. They got stuff like the fights this weekend. Will Levis, 183.5 passing yards. I think the Vikings are going to terrorize Will Levis. But I think garbage time is going to be friendly to him. So I'm actually going to go more on 183.5 passing yards for Will Levis. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You select between 2 and 6 players. You pick more or less on their projected stats, and you place your entry. It's that easy. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PURPLEDAILY to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code PURPLEDAILY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. Okay, boys, what are you most confident in on behalf of the Vikings going into this game tomorrow?
Okay. I am most confident in the ability of the Vikings defense to force turnovers, which they're very good at. They lead the league with 15 picks. The Titans have the second worst turnover differential in the National Football League at minus 11. 17 giveaways by the offense, 6 takeaways. Between the two of them, your guy Levis and Mason Rudolph have combined for 11 picks. Will Levis has 7 touchdown passes. Congratulations. He also has 7 picks. 79.6 rating. I think this is an opportunistic, dare I say it, ball hawking defense that Brian Flores runs. And there, to me, is no reason to let off the gas pedal in this game. I'm confident the Vikings, that Cam Bynum is going to be doing another celebration that will go viral.
I got more on that, but I'll throw it to Dex first here.
Yeah, I'm actually, call me crazy. I'm actually most confident in a bounce back from Sam Darnold. So Darnold's been throwing a lot of interceptions. He leads the league in turnovers. He's maybe resorting into a pumpkin figure. I think this is a great get-right situation for him. What's weird is the Titans' defense this year. I've never seen a discrepancy like this. They had the second best yards allowed. They've barely given up any yards this season. They're 29th in points. I've never seen, especially at this point in the season, a discrepancy that large where you're second in yards but 29th in points.
I think when your quarterback puts together a bunch of dumb interceptions and fumbles and stuff, and it's a shorter field.
Their special teams is awful. They're allowing, their special teams is consistently allowing scoring chances.
And by the way, their cornerbacks are pretty good. They've given up the fewest passing yards in the NFL this season. But I'm most confident in KOC making some tweaks here and there. Sam Darnold not going full blue screens of death. These could be some famous last words, despite the Vikings being favorites. But I'm confident in a bounce back performance from Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, you would think just based on what's happened the last 2 weeks that there would just be a little bit of, okay, let's be mindful of not forcing it to Jefferson quite as much. Love the fact that you're trying to get him the ball, but there's got to be just like a natural regression back to, okay,
And also, like, if you go back to, I think it was the pick that he threw for Jefferson in the front corner of the end zone against the Jaguars. If he places that ball correctly, it's caught.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't force it, but also just make the right throw. Like, and to ask me or you or Declan to make that throw is impossible. But you're an NFL quarterback, dude. Like Justin Jefferson, it's not just like, well, if you throw the ball towards the defender and he's going to come back and catch it. It's all predicated on this accuracy. So if that throw is right, that's a touchdown right there.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing I'm most confident in is Judd kind of touched on some stuff, but it is the Vikings defense pressuring Will Levis and forcing him to make mistakes. So Will Levis, when pressured this season, dead last among all quarterbacks in PFF grade. He has a 27.5 PFF grade, 0 to 100 scale when he's pressured. Second to last in yards per attempt, 4.5 when pressured. And third to last in passer rating when pressured. He has a 47 passer rating when he's pressured.
Ooh, boy.
When Will Levis is blitzed, he's dead last in PFF grade, 28.9 out of 100. Here's another one here. He has the third highest pressure to sack rate in the NFL, meaning like you're going to get pressured. Can you avoid taking a sack when you get pressured? Can you get rid of the football or move in the pocket or something?
Right.
He takes a sack on 1 in every 3 pressures. So if you can just get pressures on this dude, unless he turns into something that he hasn't been so far in his career, he's going to make mistakes. He's going to be inaccurate. He's going to check down, and you're going to be able to swarm. He's not going to make big plays. So if I'm Brian Flores and I'm sitting in the film room, I am salivating over this matchup. Get pressure on this dude, and he's gonna melt. Okay, what are you most nervous about on behalf of the Vikings?
Well, because I don't want to jinx it, I'm going to go the opposite of Dex, and I am still going to say until I see it, Darnold. This is several things. Its confidence is one. It's just there's a lot of things. I mean, Jacksonville is not good, and Jacksonville flummoxed him by making adjustments. Now, if the Titans make the same adjustments, I do think that O'Connell will be prepared. So, like, if they don't play man, if they play a bunch of zone, I think that the Vikings are going to have some answers. But the last 2 games have been bad enough where I need to see the answers to the test. I need to see the student pass the test. Like there are some people that do really well until it's test time, and then they fail because there's a certain psychological thing. So more so to try to not jinx it, I am going to say that my confidence in Sam is plummeting right now, and I'd like to see him stop that. So I am going to be concerned about Sam until I see him actually come up with another representable game. It doesn't have to be a great game, but representable.
Make him prove it. Yeah.
I'm most worried about Jeffrey Simmons and just the Titans defense also pressuring this line, which has been shaky at times this season, even post Christian Darrisaw. I think Cab Robinson's been filling in admirably, but it's been called for a couple penalties here and there. I'm more worried about them putting pressure also on the offensive line, which then just makes life harder for Sam. And the Titans defense this year, at least in the red zone, or excuse me, on third down, on third downs, they've been very good at getting off the field. So I would think the pressure, getting after the offensive line, and then just having long continued drives, like what the Vikings had 4 drives against the Jags that were 10 to 12 play drives, and then they kind of bleep themselves down their leg. So I'm more worried about the pressure getting after the offensive line, which then will just be a trickle-down effect that could cause some problems for the Vikings.
Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons versus this interior offensive line is going to be interesting, especially if they have him go to work on Ed Ingram for 3 hours. Yeah, they're going to have to figure that out. And to Declan's third down point, the Titans have the 4th best third down defense in the NFL. They're only allowing first downs on 32% of third downs. So, yeah, I think you guys have already talked about Sam Darnold, but I'll just say that my biggest concern is this defense is a very good defense. Now, L'Jarius Sneed was out this week, and I don't think we have not seen, as of the recording of this, the final injury report.
Correct.
So they might not be fully stocked and fully healthy. But for as bad as their record is and for as bad as their offense and quarterback are, they can keep a game kind of low scoring and muddy. And, if you're We saw it last week. Hell, you're playing a backup quarterback, but it's on the road, and you have a couple bad turnovers, and all of a sudden you're in the third quarter and you're down by 3 points or something. I could see this being kind of a grind it defensive game, just how the Titans are going to want it, just for them to be there in the second half.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, is anyone playing or coaching for their job?
I would like
on
to
either
say,
side.
I would like on the Vikings side. If the Vikings had a backup who O'Connell trusted and Darnold was terrible again, I would say Sam might be, but I don't think he is. So that would be a lie if I said Sam. On the Vikings side, I say no. Again, I'm going to go with Ed Ingram. I will believe it when I see it, but I'll say no. On the Titans side, there got to be a lot of players, right, playing for their eventual job. I mean, the quarterback is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been a debacle there. Now, Brian Callahan is a new coach. He's going to get a long leash. But I would say if there's one guy who's playing for a job, Will Levis is playing for a job. And that's assuming a decision has not been made about him for 2025 already, which is a possibility because Brian Callahan didn't draft him.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. I mean, we've seen some Cam Akers getting more run over Ty Chandler, so like maybe there's who's playing for RB2. Aaron Jones has been a little bit more banged up, so there's been a little different spelling options there behind Aaron Jones for the backup back. But I don't think until someone proves me otherwise. Like I'd like to see Dalton Reisner, but Ed Ingram seems to have that job on lock.
I mean, we had the Sam Darnold hypothetical conversation on Feedback Friday, where if he throws 2 or 3 picks in the first half, do we see Nick Mullins? How close is Kevin? Publicly, Kevin has been, hey, he's our guy. We love Sam. I just wonder, though, when you're in the heat of the moment and your guy throws 2 more terrible interceptions or is careless with the ball, are we close? Are we within the realm of possibility that KOC says, all right, enough? He leads the league in interceptions. So it's got to be sort of close. Okay, playoff odds via the New York Times /Athletic. The Vikings currently have a 90% chance to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They have a 15% chance to win the division. And they have a 5% chance to win the Super Bowl.
Actually, not bad.
Does that sound right to you guys? 90% playoffs, 5% to win all?
Sounds right. How many other teams have higher Super Bowl odds than the Vikings right now? Obviously, Chiefs and Lions, but who else?
Yeah, Chiefs, Lions. Let me pull this up here. So, Chiefs are sitting at 18% to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Lions, 18%. Bills, 11%. Eagles, 10% after last night.
That's a faulty one. Sorry.
Ravens, 8%.
Yep.
Vikings, 5%.
Okay.
So there's 5 teams ahead of the Vikings on the Super Bowl.
Eagles are a lot. As I explained on Tuesday when I unveiled my newest rankings. Eagles, man, that's Barkley's great, and they have turned things around, but they've done it against a lot of substandard teams. And keep in mind, Washington is also not necessarily a great team. Like the Vikings start still gets them something, I think.
Yeah.
But I think part of the logic on the Eagles now is they are absolutely in the driver's seat to win that division because they're 2 games up on the Commanders with a win over them in the loss column.
Yep.
So they're gonna play a home game. They're also only they're a half game back of the Lions for home field advantage and a bye.
Yeah.
So if
well, I hope their schedule toughens up because I'd like to see them play some tough, real tough opponents now.
Let's see here. What are the Sharps saying about this game via Action Network? Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold regression. Since week 5, Darnold ranks 24th among quarterbacks in adjusted expected points added per play. That's a deep cut right there.
Football.
Yeah.
That's how this show rolls, though.
It is. With the 9th highest turnover-worthy play rate. And over his last 2 games, he's 25th in adjusted net yards per attempt, despite facing 2 terrible pass defenses in the Colts and the Jaguars. On the flip side, the big concern is Will Levis against a blitz-heavy Brian Flores defense that has ruined the days of many great quarterbacks this season. I was, however, the author says, impressed by Levis's film against a stout Chargers defense last week, as he had a 78% adjusted completion rate and just one turnover-worthy play against the Chargers.
Nice. With
Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears now healthy, the Titans could also implement a run-heavy approach against this defense.
Mm-hmm. That seems fair. I mean, it's weird too, because the Titans have this defense that we've been talking about, but as a team themselves, they're not that threatening. I think there's a better chance. So I think there's a better chance that Brian Flores makes Levis's day miserable than there is a chance that the Vikings fall apart again offensively. In part because, you know what? I flat out am going to trust O'Connell. I'm going to trust O'Connell to have enough answers to give Sam that it doesn't train wreck.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's going to go out there and like say, you know what, Sam, we got to go right back to the old well and whatever you want to do. Like he's smart enough, I think, to know that he's going to have to try to put him at least in a position to succeed. So,
by the way, a bunch of smarter people than me certainly have said, hey, if teams are going to do what the Jaguars did, which is never blitz and drop back into coverage and play two safeties high,
right,
then what you need to do is run the ball as much as you can.
Yep.
And then absolutely hammer the middle of the field and the edges with tight ends and little outbreaking routes.
And they started to do both those things a little bit.
Which could lead to, you're going to have to chunk together 10, 12 play drives. But they did. And then once they got inside the 30, inside the 20 is when the catastrophic interceptions would happen.
Right. And you know what? The good thing is if you do chunk together those long drives, you keep your defense rested, which I think we complained about earlier in the season about that potentially being a problem. So like the long drives, as long as you just get some damn points, I've got no problem with the drives.
Yeah. Stop throwing interceptions at the goal line, basically. So, all right, we'll make our official picks here in a moment. I found a new dentist a couple months ago, Park Dental in Minneapolis. Park Dental has locations all over the Twin Cities and Western Wisconsin. Yeah, super happy because I was very nervous. My old dentist retired. I was dentistless. And the folks at Park Dental gave me a great experience, great technology and comfortable setting. It was just great. Sometimes it could be a little intimidating to go to the dentist. This was like the least intimidating. It's actually fun. Over 50 years, Park Dental has been caring for and cleaning teeth in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin. So schedule your checkup at parkdental.com.
I heard through background that your dentist told you he retired and actually found out that you had moved back. He's still doing appointments, but he put it out. He was done.
He just didn't want to deal with me anymore.
Yes. Well, first of all, he was surprised because he's like, when did Phil move back from Seattle? And then they told him he's back, and he's like, okay, I'm done. Just
crazy. Oh,
wink.
You still live in Seattle? Oh, it's crazy. You must be visiting.
I got a question about that at the Twins. When did Phil move back?
Like this week?
This week. When did Phil come back to town?
Tell me off mic who asked that
Don't tell
question.
his dentist.
My gosh. Also, Nicolay Law is the exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily. Nicolay Law knows that when you or a loved one gets injured, ordinary life can come to a stop and things can get complicated. During that time, insurance companies might pressure you, and you need someone by your side, like Russell Nicolay and his team that are very much rooted in the Twin Cities communities that we all live in. And they're here to make sure you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay, nicolaylaw.com, or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY. Dex, also the Fillmore is near and dear to our hearts here. Purple Daily Draft Party was a blast there last year, but there's other things going on besides us doing draft parties at the Fillmore.
That's right. Yeah, we had a ton of fun there in April doing the draft, and you can also go see some great shows at the Fillmore. It's just steps away from Target Center and Target Field. Go check out the Fillmore. You can go to scorenorth.com/tickets. It's got a great ballroom. They have seating available upstairs, standing room available downstairs with GA. I love that type of setting. Go to scorenorth.com/tickets to learn more about the Fillmore.
All right, so the Vikings are 6-point favorites in most sports books, so we're going to use that number.
Okay.
81% of the bets are on the Vikings. 90% of the money is on the Vikings in this one, which is kind of the way it was last week, too. It did not work out. Straight up this season, all of us are 6-3 picking the Vikings straight up. Against the spread, Dex is 6-3. Judd is 5-4. I am 4-5. So, Judd, we'll start with you. Vikings are 6-point favorites. Who wins and by how many?
Oh, boy. The Vikings win this game. I'm not going to go against them. I just have to decide if I think they're going to cover the spread, which is a lot of points, but also extremely doable. I'll say this. Based on the Titans' defensive proficiency, I'm going to say they do not cover the spread. They just win outright.
Okay.
All right. You'll take those 6 points. Okay.
Could be a backdoor cover there, too. I don't know. Some random things can happen.
Yeah.
I'll take them, obviously, to win outright. I'll take them to win, and I'll take them to cover. I'm going to be confident here with my Sam Darnold predictions throughout the week.
Mr. PTSD, all week long you've been saying you have Vikings
PTSD for other reasons. Okay, these are
PTSD for the McCarthy stuff. Declan all week has said Darnold's going to bounce back. Yeah, I'll give him that.
These are two different things.
Okay.
Darnold at times has looked. Darnold carved up the Texans defense, which is really damn good. He played well against the Niners defense.
Very nervous.
So I'll take the Vikings to win, and I'll take them to cover the points too.
This is definitely against my brain is telling me 6 points is too much for a road game and a turnover-heavy quarterback. Same thing as last week. But I also feel like the Vikings are. I mean, they process-wise, time of possession, yardage, they destroyed the Jaguars last week, if not for interceptions. So if I think Darnold's going to rein in the turnovers. And now this defense is better than the Jaguars defense.
Correct.
But I just feel like the Vikings get back on track with they're going to handle the Titans in this game. So I'll pick the Vikings to win, and I will take them to cover the 6.
I don't know the Titans are going to necessarily be the team either to take a page from the Jaguars book. Like, I think the Titans defense probably is good enough. Like the Jaguars sucked. Like, their pass defense was awful. So they literally were like, who cares, right? I think the Titans are going to probably stick with what the Titans do, which might help the Vikings.
What do the Titans do?
Titans going to punch you in the mouth. That's what happens every Sunday in this league. You get punched in the mouth. And the question is, how do you respond?
The Titans are going to stick with what they do, which is wear
I don't think they're going to go
colored uniforms and get their ass kicked. Yes, and draft in the top 5.
They should have kept their nickname. The Oilers was such a good name.
I agree with
it for Houston.
Yeah.
Houston actually should have just got in it.
Yeah. So a debate for another show. But there it is. All right, let us know who you think in the Purple Daily YouTube comment section. You can hit us up on Twitter/X. We all have the Vikings winning, and Judd will hedge by taking the Titans to cover here. So we'll see what happens. Then tomorrow, Vikings Vent Line, the place to be after every single Vikings game, live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We will see you there. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.